5. Alright, and please sure it's cycled out. We're going live. Oh. Alrighty, and we are live, everybody. We are here at the Milwaukee Mile. As always, for the last couple, or at least for the last couple weeks, up here with me is Sam Bennett, who will be the race control for the race tonight. 75 laps this week, and no, your eyes are not deceiving you there. There are 3 red cars right in front of you. They look almost identical. It's a smaller field, but that could be because Jason Colburn last week did lock up the championship for those who weren't here. Okay, that was interesting. And I'm sitting there watching them go around the track, and it looked like he bumped him in the corner. Oh, and I forgot to get rid of the graphic on the screen. Smart on me. I pulled a Tony there.
2 weeks in a row now.
Well, I did get rid of it on when the race started. So yeah, we're just down to the last one here. We got 75 laps tonight, and then next week at Indianapolis we'll have 50 laps, or else we'd never have that race done. So yeah, I mean, have you been out in the car yet? Because I don't have my wheels set up, so I haven't been able to do that this week.
The last time I raced around here in the Pro Mazda was when we had the Elite Invitational, or the Open Invitational, which was open setup. But either way, it doesn't matter what setup you're going to pick. The track is very volatile in these cars. And one wrong move can put you in the wall.
And if I'm correct in understanding this is almost the same setup that about 4 or 5 people had anyway, so that are actually here tonight. So it's not like they're going to be expecting anything different. This is virtually the same setup with maybe some tweaks because of updates.
Yeah, it pretty much is. And the thing is about this setup is that, yeah, it's fast and it's pretty damn good through the corners, but you still have to work it through the corners, otherwise and you have to be careful, otherwise it's just going to throw you straight into the wall and end your day very quickly. So people just need to be careful out there with these cars on this track.
Well, do we know if Tony will be making it tonight by chance?
Probably not tonight. No, I haven't seen him. He's probably fallen asleep. But
yeah, I was hoping that we would be able to have him do the on-track thing tonight, this week, since I don't have my wheel set at the moment. So I'm not going to be able to do that this week.
I was going to say, would you want to attempt it?
Well, I would have to move everything, and I don't have the room on my area right now to fit the wheel in.
My wheel's not set up either, so I can't go out and try.
Yeah. And I figured Tony would have been the best for it because it's his setup pretty much. He was the one who essentially made this one. So I figured he would be the best one to explain how it runs on this track. And we're on board with, I have it on Eric Roberts right now, just kind of following him along instead of the most exciting part of the track. So we're expecting this one to be a little bit better of a race. I want to say ahead of time that there might be a couple hitches with the video end of the broadcast this week because the internet's not been quite as good as usual the last few days. So there might be a few hitches, but hopefully the audio will go through clean because usually when I'm having internet issues, the video is what has a problem, not the audio. So just want to put that disclaimer before we get to the race.
I'm just looking at the entry list. It's considerably smaller from what we've been having lately. Only 15 cars looking to take green tonight. So,
and that's if Mick Woods actually gets into the game because he's not in right now.
Yeah, it seems the last few weeks he's not really been interested in participating, but hopefully he could actually come out.
Badonka fuel tanks.
that
You're hoping I said that, weren't you?
Yeah, I was.
But yeah, I mean, it's so big of a tank that we could run twice the distance we normally run these races at because of how big the tank is. I can't wait till we run this race in our big cars come, let's see, October 17th and the 22nd, which, for those who tuned in last week, that's going to be our throwback week, as it's been officially labeled, since it is the oldest track we run on the schedule, and we don't run Darlington, which we're never going to run Darlington.
I've already started working on my team's DW12 schemes for that night. Week.
I think Tyler's already finished his teams. So, or maybe tweaking some of them, but yeah,
we'll be. He hasn't done anybody else's.
Well, at least he hasn't posted them yet, so he might not be done. But yeah, we'll be back at action in those cars this Sunday as the DW12s head out to Las Vegas to finish out the Vegas week. So that'll be fun to watch.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Actually, I guess technically fun to run because I'll be actually out on the track for that one.
Yeah, and obviously I'll be in race control again, so I'll be keeping an eye on proceedings.
And something that we do want to point out tonight now, and I will be making this mistake a lot, and I'm pretty sure Sam will be as well. Ethan Glenn, who normally drives the 43, unfortunately something's up with his account. He's actually racing under his dad today. So every time y'all see Bo Glenn or B Glenn up there on the top there, that's actually Ethan, his son, who's using his account to make the race tonight. So just so that everyone else knows what's going on with that. Think of it like a substitute driver, like when Bubba Wallace was driving for Eric Almirola. It's still going to be his dad's name on the car, but it's actually him behind the wheel.
Hey, it worked in Bubba Wallace's favour. He's taking his seat full time now, so.
Not officially. Blickensdorfer, I can't say that guy's name. The crew chief has said they're trying to get Bubba, but it has not been official yet because they need the sponsorship before they can say yes, we have him. As right now in this session, we have Mike Whitaker, who can be surprised by that, followed by Jason Colburn, David Llewellyn as our top three fastest cars with 25.86, 25.88, and 25.91. It's almost virtually the same distance separating each one, and it's just thousandths of a second.
Yeah, just 20,000.
Hundredths, excuse me. Hundredths.
20 thousandths of a second separating Mike Whitaker and Jason Colburn.
Yeah, 200s.
Jason Colburn is not showing any signs of slowing down, even though he's wrapped up the championship, so hopefully he can actually finally get a win this season.
Well, if I was him, I wouldn't want to slow down either. I mean, it's just like there goes someone spinning. It's just like the old NASCAR championships before they came out with the Chase back in 2004. I think was the first year the Chase existed. Before that, it was all about who could have the best car through all 36 races, and sometime I think Jeff Gordon one year won it after like 32 races. There were still 4 races left, and he had locked it up because you just ran so consistent, and you could lock it up with still plenty of races to go.
Yeah, I think it was Kurt Busch that won the first ever Chase, wasn't it?
He did, yeah. It was Kurt Busch, Tony Stewart, and then the 5 straight by Jimmy Johnson, and then Tony Stewart again. So it was 7 straight Chevy championships.
It's going to be a shame when Kurt Busch loses that seat at the end of the season. It's going to be weird seeing only one Busch out there.
Oh no, he'll be back. He'll get another ride, you know that. Where he'll get it, no idea, but he'll definitely be getting a ride. And Robert Lacavara just went spinning there. See if we can find Jason. Yeah, Jason's out on the track right now, so we're going to follow him around the track in this practice session as we're coming to an end. But, yeah, he'll find a job. I mean, Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth, they'll both have a place to go, even if it's with a smaller team. They'll find somewhere where they can race. And Colburn has some wing damage there. And where did my chat go on there it goes, okay.
On another driver that's leaving their seat, there is a rumour that Casey Kane might be taking the number 10 car, Stuart Haas.
I would be behind that.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, though, that Kenseth or Kurt Busch deserve a seat first, but the 10 car is with Stuart Haas, so we know Kurt Busch won't be filling that seat. Yeah. Case Kane's a great driver. He's not the best by a long shot, but he's definitely a great driver, or else he wouldn't be in the series. And from what I heard, he was running a bunch of experimental stuff. Why does it only say 5 minutes? I set it to 10.
Don't worry, I can get a quick meeting in between now and then. Now in the race.
Yeah, I said maybe it was when I said. Oh.
2 seconds.
It's because I changed the laps from 1 to 4. I didn't change the minutes back to 10.
Never mind. Just like you said, you knew you were going to slip up eventually.
I knew something was going to mess up because I haven't hosted a session for the league either side for months. Oh yes, Sailor, huh? Wisconsin State Fair. Let's do this. Get out of the car. This way it's
So let me just give you a lowdown on the track. This track is called the Milwaukee Mile. It's exactly 1 mile long, 4 turns, 43 pit stalls, and it's located in West Allis in Wisconsin, USA. Track temperature is 73 Fahrenheit. Clear air temperature is 65 Fahrenheit. No wind, no humidity. So that might be contributing to the spins.
What did you say the track temperature was?
73 degrees Fahrenheit.
Huh? Because ATVO is picking up 91.99.
Wow.
Yeah, air temp 65 degrees, no wind, no humidity, clear sky.
That temperature should suit this track then. So, to be fair, I mean,
Oh yeah,
maybe people aren't used to that sort of temperature because we usually in this league, as you know, we usually run on cold tracks to keep the car planted on the ground. So
yeah.
this might be a bit of a challenge for these drivers tonight.
Well, we also run it because it's a lot easier to keep them from sliding around, like we were saying. So I'm wondering if that's why they're sliding isn't just because of the fuel; it's also because of the tires. So we know how these tires are on these cars; they're not great all the time. So as you can see, time's rolling in. Only 9 people have taken a lap so far.
I noticed TD Adams has snuck into the session. I didn't know.
Yeah. Terry just kind of squeezed in. Ooh. I'm tired. David Llewellyn, top spot right now with Vincent Scotina and Robert Lacavara wrapping up behind him, and Mike Whitaker jumping to the top, as we still only have 9 cars that have turned a lap. We're gonna have I think this one will probably be fairly quick because we have such a small field tonight. And I do want to point out, I'm sitting here looking at the licenses on ATVO. We have almost an entirely A and B field tonight. There's not a single C driver, someone with a C oval license that is racing tonight, which usually makes no difference for league races. But
yeah, and Hoot Baker, he actually got his B license today. So
yeah, so that would
forgetting that
he would normally be one of the few C licenses that we had. But congratulations to him on getting that. And I believe you just got your A road license, correct?
I did, yeah. I've been working for 2 years to get that, and I finally got it this week.
I still haven't run any road races, except for one. I ran one in week 13 of December last year. I have not run another one since.
I've had my own teammates giving me crap about it, saying I should retire now, seeing as I've completed iRacing. I was like, no, I don't think I'll retire.
Hey, I'm happy with the fact that I got up to A license in like a month. It took me no time at all to get up to my A license. I had a C license within 2 weeks. I got the D license, I got the C, and then I got my C up far enough that I actually got a B license because of week 13. And then in week 1 of the next iRacing season in season 4 last year, I think maybe not week 1, but within the first few weeks I was A, because I started in August of last year, and I think by the beginning of October I had my A license. If you know how to race clean, you're going to do really well.
Oh yeah, I mean the official races are really tough sometimes.
Right, race meeting.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I know you probably haven't finished your laps yet, and we're up to 5 minutes anyway, so you must have finished your laps. Just a few basic rules, you know, the same rules. No arguing rate control. Just be careful with this setup because the track temperature is a bit higher than normal for some reason. The car will try and snap loose to the corners, so take it easy to the corners. Entrance to pit road is a very quick entrance on the front stretch, so if you call your pits, call it as soon as possible and make sure you're on the bottom line before you go into pit road. Otherwise, you could cause a few issues there. Other than that, it's no scrubbing tyres as usual. Other than that, just have a safe race out there. Try and keep the cautions to a minimal. And one more thing, when the caution comes out, please make sure you keep the radio clear before until you've caught the pace car. We've had issues with that a lot lately, and we don't want a continual run of that. So yeah, just have a good race and just keep it safe out there.
Alrighty, that was the drivers' meeting, everybody, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab a drink before we go green. So if since you have the running order, do you mind going down the grid for me, since I can't see the grid, technically?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Starting off on our front row is our 2 league veterans, David Llewellyn and Mike Whitaker. Row 2 will be Johnny Antonucci and Vincent Scatina. Row 3 will be Bob Lacavara and Jason Colburn. Row 4 will be TD Adams and Ben Walton. Rounded out the top 10 will be Bo Glenn and Mike Baker. Row 6 will be Nate Dean and David Bowden. Row 7 will be Eric Roberts and David Gervais. And row 9 will be Ron McManus, and I'm not sure if he's going to take the grid or not, but shotgun on the field will be Mick Woods.
Thank you, and that was a much shorter one because we're running about 10 drivers less than we did the last couple weeks. So we have David Llewellyn on the field. Is there a driver we should hop on board with actually to start this race? Because we haven't done that to start a race before. We normally do.
Let's start with Mike Whitaker because he's usually a fast starter on these tracks.
Alright, so this is 1 mile, so we should only have 1 pace lap. So we're going to go ahead and put the drop down here so you can see what's going on with this speed there in the left-hand side. RPMs and miles per hour. Now, granted, we can't see the exact RPMs, so that might not be completely accurate with the way iRacing works. But we know the miles per hour is. Alright. Yeah, no light on the pace car, so it is only 1 lap. It's good to see iRacing is consistent, so that 1 mile, it's greater than or equal to 1 mile is
Imagine
1
what the
pace lap.
laps are going to be like next week when we go to Indianapolis.
Oh, please don't make me think about that. It'd be nice if we could choose, like, in 2K3, you could choose either a full pace lap or just a shorter pace lap where you would start on the backstretch.
Yeah, and here we go.
As they're coming off the corner. Man, this pit road's going to be interesting if we have any green flag stops, because it's just a 90 degree to the left. Here we go. David Llewellyn controls it, and there's... Oh, I'm not live. Oh, it was. So David Llewellyn takes a good jump. Watching Mike Whitaker go into the corner here. You can see them kind of going in high. Whitaker, unusual of him to go lower than other drivers. Going lower than Llewellyn. So we see him hitting 137 coming off the corner. Kind of letting off so he doesn't get in the back of Llewellyn. Now he's going to run that outside a little bit. Goes down the inside a little bit more.
We've got a spinner going through turn 3. He kept it down.
And who was it?
Bob Lacavara. He just lost the car. I did warn them about the car trying to snap loose, going through the corners, so...
And...
Yeah.
Woof. Wow. That's not the same that normally happened in practice. Normally in the practice, they were gone once that thing started to go. He did a real good job of keeping that one off the wall, because in practice, I swear, everybody was hitting that wall. There was no stopping it. It looks like Johnny Antonucci had snuck past Whitaker there right before the caution came out to take second. And so we made it 1 lap. I will say the good thing is, knowing how these guys race, we are not likely to hit double-digit cautions because of the number of laps this race is.
The only way that's going to happen is if they bring out a caution every single time they go green, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Not every single time. They can run a lap or two a few times because it's 4 laps because it's a 1 mile track. If it was 0.9 miles of a track, then it would be pretty much every time because it'd be a 5 lap caution. So I do like that iRacing did that. It's easy to keep track of it. Nope. Is that Ethan blinking back there, or I guess Ethan is both? Okay. I just saw someone blinking a couple times. I'm used to it being one of the Glens. As he's actually, well, he's right there nearly behind him. So.
Yeah, it's Vincent Scatina that's blinking this time, which is strange.
I do want to point out our top 3 drivers right now are league regulars. Oh, let's get rid of that. Put the wrong graphic up there. Oops. I put the driver long thing that pops up at the bottom of the screen. It says best lap of the race, lowest position, highest position. As we're watching them go around.
I believe somebody pit started, you know, at the start of the race, because I'm sure I heard when they went round the first corner. I'm sure I heard somebody coming out of pit road.
Looks like it might have been either Terry or David Gervais. And yeah, Mick Woods did not take the start.
Then we got 15 cars. Not bad. I mean, it's a smaller field than what we usually get, but for this track, I'm pretty sure 15 is a pretty good number. I mean, if it was next week and we were at Indianapolis, 15 would be a pretty small number.
Well, with the championship being decided, I think a lot of people just figure, well, it's already decided. There's no way anyone else can win, so I'm just gonna sit out and just run some other official iRacing series for now and come back when the next season starts in a few weeks. Because this series, I think, we didn't even have a break last time. So as we see the 1 to green, the lights are off on the pace car. We will be going green this lap.
I think we'll be having a break between this season and season 3 because we haven't even figured out the new schedule yet. So
probably like what, a couple weeks?
Probably about 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, because we would definitely want it. I think it would be ideal to try and have it timed so that it runs from week 6, where we're at Michigan, to the end of the season, which is week 20. So it runs basically the 15 races for this season. I think that's a perfect number for this series. Have 15 races again, and it starts when we have 15 races left in the big cars, and then run just the same weeks. Not run 15 straight like it always does. As here we are about to go green, Johnny Antonucci laying back a little bit. My guess is so that he can watch when David goes. So here we go, about to go green. Pace car's down.
Ready, green
David
flag.
Llewellyn fires it. Of course, the pace, man, green flag falls as soon as the pace car's on pit road. Leader doesn't control anything here. As we see
I just don't like the way the pace car just peels off into the pits like that. It takes off and noses of about 1,000 cars.
Oh, and I hear wrecking. I thought I heard that was lag.
Because Ethan's blinking again. It sounded like someone was wrecking.
Yeah, I heard the car on the wall noise. As we're seeing, man, David Llewellyn's actually pulling away. Let's go back to where there's some more action. Y'all will be hearing clicks this week because the way my setup is right now, I can't do push to talk, sadly.
Even the best ones do the clicking thing as well, so...
Well, no, like that's my mouse you're hearing, and we have someone spinning. I hopped. So Vincent Scatina he got turned. Someone turned him.
That might have something to do with his blinking. He was blinking just before that happened.
He was not blinking at the time it happened, though. He was actually perfectly fine on my end. Whoops. Like you can hear my mouse clicking. It's not like Tony's where. Yeah, he goes down into the corner, and then the car behind him. Oh, he came down, and then yeah, they both blinked. But still, he did come down, but the other car also had a ruined front. I'll let you rule that how you will. And if you don't mind warning them of situational awareness, because that's only the first instance of it so far, but it's best to remind them early on to remember to be aware of cars around them.
Yeah, that spin was caused by Vincent's connection issues. I've told him that he's got to stay at the back until he's got that fixed. Because he's causing problems for other people, which is unusual because we usually put that on Ethan, but he seems to be pretty solid for the moment.
Well, he was involved in that wreck too, so because there were a bunch of people that spun after Vincent got turned because they were trying to avoid it, and because it was in the middle of the turn, the car has no grip if you try to do something drastic. So two of them ended up spinning, and it looks like a couple of them hit the wall because Robert Lacavar's lapped down, and so is Ethan. I would say that Robert Lacavar needs to get the 5 back from Ethan, but because Lacavar doesn't race in this series officially, he's technically in the big cars. He doesn't get a number reserved here.
Yeah, it's weird because I actually, when Bob spun on the first caution, I actually called him as the 5, but he's actually the 6.
Yeah.
I said I'm too used to calling Bob as the 5, and because Ethan's got the 5.
Yeah, it's well. just like I don't get the 61, so if someone else takes it, they get it. Someone else will get the 30 if Alex isn't in the series or isn't in the race before someone else prefers it. Because we run in the big cars, so we don't get a number reserved for us. Number reservations are strictly for per Mazda championship contenders. So for those curious what I mean by that, basically the ones who are actually earning points for this race. So David Llewellyn, who we're watching on the rear chase right now, Mike Whitaker behind him, Johnny Antonucci behind him in those top 3 spots, they don't have those numbers reserved. It just happens to be that no one has them reserved, so they're able to get the numbers they want. Of course,
Yeah.
Whitaker's always going to get his number, because who's going to take 707 unless they intentionally want to take it from him?
Oh, there's always one, trust me.
And it is kind of weird seeing Llewellyn in the 52 instead of the 11, even though I know that 52 was his original number in the ISL. And I believe we're coming to 1 to green, because they're starting to double up.
Yep. I've given Vincent Scatina an EOL and told him to stay at the back until he's fixed his connection issues, because I don't want him causing trouble for other people.
Well, I'm going to put us on put the camera focused on Jason Colburn, since he's a little bit further back. We don't want to be on the leader, and put it on the blimp camera so we can see an overhead view of this restart as they're coming off turn 4, which I think is going to be pretty neat to watch. I love the blimp and camera, chopper cameras in this game. It's so neat to see that wide view of everything going on.
Yeah. I've got it on Grandstand right now, same view I had it on last week. It seems to work pretty well, but it goes pretty close up to just one car when it goes
exactly.
To the
That's
front stretch.
That's why I'm not doing that. I could, but I'm not doing broadcast either because some of the cameras are glitched a little bit. As you see him coming off the corner.
I notice how they're very gingerly staying behind the pace car this time.
Yeah, and here we go. They go green. So we hear the cars firing up as they head down into turn 1. And Llewellyn not running the high line this time on the restart. He stays down on the bottom. I wonder if he thought Whitaker was up there on his outside. No, he's still running down there. If I had to guess, the middle line probably has to be the fastest line, but some of them are running down there on the bottom.
Look at Jason Colburn making a move on the outside.
Oh, he's been up on the outside of Antonucci since we went back green. There he goes. He gets enough pull coming off the corner. We got a nice view of that one because we were right over top of them as they entered the corner, because that's where we blinked. And there's another. Oh boy!
Cool your tires off. Get your fans on.
Even for a 15-car field, this is embarrassing. Was that Nate Dean and David Gervais, I would guess, and it looks like Ethan Glenn because they're all blinking. I can see them blinking on my ATVO. Because I don't know who to go to right now. Hello.
Sorry, I was just dealing with the race control thing.
Yeah, I just need to know who the driver was so I can...
It was Nate Deany, self-spun.
Just nothing really to watch. Just no contact or anything. Just lost it.
Yeah, just the same as what Bob did.
And then I won't bother going back to watch it then, if it was something like that. Number 2. No, yeah, let's put it on that. Blimp, keep it on the blimp because it's a nice little camera. So, have
Seems
any?
to be having a bit more fun this time round, even though there's cautions again. So,
well, I'm a lot less tired.
I think it's because it's close to the end of the season as well, and people are just looking forward to ending it now. So,
Yeah, that's actually what I put in the league posts for the page for all the people who follow us on Facebook. Was that now everyone's just going out just to enjoy themselves. I mean, granted, all of our league regulars, that's what they've been doing from the start. They're just like a Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski. They're just out there running to run. But now all the rest of the regulars, like Jason Colburn especially, can just go out there and just have fun. because they don't have to worry about the points. Now, some of them might be because they might be battling people for positions for the final spots to maybe get a little bit of a better finishing position or protect where they're at. But overall, most of them are just not really worried as much, most likely.
Yeah, Bob did initially claim that caution because he self-spun as well, but he self-spun after Nate Dean spun, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
So
because
he was like slowing down for the caution and he just looped it.
okay. My mind's blanking. One sec. Oh, yeah. So basically, as an example of the whole no points to really battle for, just go out and have fun. Basically, was how I took the playoffs last season when I made the IRO5 playoffs. I just once I was eliminated after those 2 horrible races where I got collected in other people's wrecks, one of which I'm still upset about. I just went out and then what was it? The first race was at Talladega, and I go out and I push Tyler Graff and get my best finish of the series of the season by finishing second and almost beat him if I'd had just a little bit more room. But that's just, I mean, that's what it did. I mean, I had no stress. I was just out there to race and get my best finish. And it helped a lot on doing well, and definitely helped my approach for going into the races this year, where I'm focused on how I got up to my A license. Race clean. Learn how to race clean, keep the car clean, and you'll get the finishes. They will come, and they have been coming. I didn't do well the first race, but in the last 2 I've been doing pretty good, which is what I'm hoping a lot of these guys are looking at now, is try and keep it clean, keep the car under control, and survive.
Yeah, I mean, the best, from what I've learned, the best way to learn how to use wreck avoidance is actually racing on dirt. I mean, that's the best way to learn wreck avoidance.
God, these cars on dirt, though, would be amazing.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't be able to do jack on them. Here we go, about to go green again as David Llewellyn's still leading the field. Do we happen to know what the fuel mileage is?
I have no idea.
All right. Wait until they get to the backstretch before asking. That way they have some time to space out. Who is that going crazy back there? Was that Ethan Glenn blinking again? Or was that Scatina?
Vincent Scatina again.
Okay. See, it shows how bad it is.
I'm going to have to ask him to park it because it's just getting too much now.
Yeah, as we see him going down. Look at the battle for second. 3 car. Well, that was probably lag. Yeah, no caution. Look at the top 5. They're all right there together within a second of each other, according to ATVO.
Yeah, they are very close. Although, behind that, they've completely dropped off. I don't know if they're just taking it easy or not.
I think the third row kind of got slowed up a little bit because they kind of lost the draft. And, of course, Mike Whitaker now is moving up through the field. He's passed a few people. And he just beat pit, which is why he's not up there at the front. And he's already passed 3 people that haven't pit yet.
They're playing the strategy game early then, so...
Well, for a race that's, if you count only green flag laps for all 75, wouldn't actually be that long. So I guess technically he isn't really playing it early. He's just playing it at this point because it's not as long of a race as we would normally run. Oh, wow, look at the battle for second. It is definitely heated up as we have 3 cars within, what was it, quarter of a second of each other going into one. They were nose to tail 3 cars back from second to fourth. As we see, Llewellyn, when they start catching him, he goes down to that inside to guard the inside. He runs that middle line going down the straightaway. But when he pulls out a little bit, he runs a little bit higher in the corners, I've noticed. We see a battle for second as Johnny Antonucci's looking to the inside of the series champ this season, Jason Colburn. As Antonucci got a little bit tight and pushed up towards him. Let's get into a better camera angle here. Let's go to the broadcast and watch that one for a little bit now.
I've just had feedback from the drivers. The fuel run in this around here in these cars is 22 laps.
So we should be seeing a lot of these people pit now because they just now hit 22 laps.
Yeah,
we've been a lot of cautions. Yeah, I know. I'm saying that's why I'm saying any time now because we just hit 22. So
Dave Bowden getting out of shape out of turn 2.
Yeah, as we're wow, that's a nice camera angle coming off turn 2. Just watching them all go. I think you meant turn 4.
As we're turn 2. David Bowden was getting out of shape and.
See that far back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, big crash.
Caution.
You got a car?
How was your forward drive there towards the end of that little run we just did?
I'm just looking for it now.
Someone just looped it, slowing down for the pace car. Looked like Johnny Antonucci. Yeah, it's probably
That was Ron McManus. He got loose and spun right in front of Vincent Scattin.
all right. 78, gotcha. Instant. So here they are going down the back straightaway here, going down towards turn 3. Yeah, he got loose. Vincent Scattina hits him in the left side. Then Vincent Scattina spins, but Ronald McManus is able to keep going, and someone hit. Oh! Oh my God! You were right, that was pretty bad, because Vincent Scattina kept spinning, someone hits him and goes flying straight into the, well, not flying, but they went straight into the outside wall. As we had about 5 cars get caught up in that one. As we see, David Llewellyn takes it down pit road. Is now Jason Colburn, Johnny Antonucci, Ben Walton, Terry Adams, and Ronald McManus are the only cars to not pit. I wouldn't be surprised if Ronald McManus doesn't. I would be surprised if he doesn't pit, because that whole front wing is just gone, pretty much. It's messed up.
Yeah, I've just had Mick Woods actually ask me if I need any help in race control. I'm okay, thank you, Mick. No need to worry, I'm fine. I can handle it. Looks like Johnny Antonucci's coming to pit road.
Yeah, he probably realized where he was on his fuel, and he didn't want to stay out too much longer. So, if it's sitting about where we are, we're probably, if we have this, keep having cautions like we are, probably only looking at about 2 pit stops maybe, which is not as many as usual. But like I said at the beginning of this, we're not running as many laps either.
Yeah.
I want to point out, so on ATVO, it uses the number 2, the Blue Deuce version of it for the number 2. And Ben Walton right now is riding the number 2. Well,
Yeah.
on my laptop, I have the broadcast open and have it turned on a lower quality so I can watch the chat and make sure everything's still going. Well, it's so blurry that his name looks like it says Wallace on the last name with how blurry it is
Oh, wow.
when it's on the lower setting. So it was kind of neat seeing the Blue Deuce and then what looked like Wallace on low quality.
That's strange.
Or at least at a glance. If I look at it close enough, I can
Yeah.
tell that it says Walton. But we have Mike Whitaker, who pit under the last caution, or 2 cautions ago, is now up at 3rd. As
Yeah,
Ron-
he's got an advantage over Walton and Colburn by the looks of things.
Did I think Ronald McManus just dipped on the pit road because no, he didn't. Never mind. But he's been out there for 26 laps. The only other people make that 27. The only other people that have been out there longer than 12 laps are the 2 up there in the front. They're going to be on the front row, Jason Colburn and Ben Walton, who have been out there 27 as well. They have not pit yet either. I still don't agree with McManus's decision. Did he get the EOL for that, or was it someone else who got it?
Looks like Jason's picking the outside line for this restart.
Nice. Did Jeremy? Did McManus get the EOL for that one?
He did, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, knowing he got the EOL, I'm surprised he didn't pit to get some fresh tires, fix that wing damage. Even though here it might help a little bit because it might tighten the car up and not let it slide as much. But here we are, about to go green again, as we are now at his caution number 4. So not too bad. Actually, we've not even been averaging 4 caution laps yet. We've had 1 caution that was only 3 laps. Wow. He caught Ben Walton sleeping.
And Whitaker not able to capitalise on that. I mean, usually he's a fast starter. But
Well, he was on the inside behind Walton because Colburn chose the outside.
so he got checked up by Walton.
Bingo. But the outside didn't go either. It was Colburn was the only one who realized, oh, green flag fell. Because he,
Driving like a champion tonight.
yeah, well, I mean,
Oh, of course.
Kind of walk me through a lap here, please.
you do know that's our 5th one, which means we are on track for 10 cautions right now.
I know.
Oh man. Do you write down everybody who causes the cautions even though there's no competition committee meeting?
I just go off by memory.
I'm pretty sure you know why I was asking, but don't want to go into it on here. But yeah, so if I am Colburn and Walton and definitely McManus at this point, well, McManus did pit already, but if I'm Walton and Colburn, I'm pitting now. And look, there they go, because they were out there for 29 laps before that caution came out when they just hit pit road. So I know that they're hoping they can pit only one more time, hoping that there are enough cautions to stretch it out again. Because if they can stretch it to 30 laps again, they'll pit on lap 60 and they'll be good to the end no matter what, even if we went green to the end.
A lot of these cautions have been caused by self spins, though. I did warn them about the car wanting to snap loose through the corners, so I'm guessing a lot of people aren't really prepared for that right now.
Well, the thing is, like I said at the beginning of this, I didn't get a chance to run any laps because my wheel not being set. But the way it looks like one of the tracks that we had. We had a setup that if you drove just the wrong way going into the corner, and it was very hard to do it, so it wasn't a big deal. The car would not handle right at all. Actually, no, it was Daytona. We were doing a practice session, I think, for Daytona, where the coming off turn 2 and coming off turn 4, the car just wanted to whip around on everybody, right in the middle of the track. It was just completely unexpected, and it threw everybody off because it's like, why are the RR5s and DW12s doing this? So, I mean, that's what it looks like to me. It's just where the car is, the setup is not agreeing with the track, I guess you could say, with the way that driver races at least. Because I spun a few times at Daytona with that setup. When I changed the way that why are we in the pace car? Oh, we're on board with Mike Whitaker. Okay.
He did pit under that caution. So.
He did. Him and Ben Walton both did. I was on watching them.
Hoot Baker pitted as well, so we've had some pretty major pit stops. David Llewellyn, he's made his way back up to second place after his pit stop.
Yep, because a few people pit. But yeah, what they've got to do is they've got to change the line they're running and how aggressive they're being, or maybe be a little bit more aggressive when they go into the corners. Maybe not, if they're applying any brake at all, maybe not apply as much. All kinds of adjustments you can make.
Yeah, and that last caution was actually brought out by the number 8, David Gervais.
Oh, he's been at the back all race, so I feel bad for him that he's just going to be back there still. Well, the good news is we're almost at halfway. We'll be, if we go green for at least a few laps, we'll be under green when we hit the midway point of this race. And we're only 30 minutes in, so 75 laps is a good call.
I know, right?
I'm glad we didn't go with 125.
To go again.
Yep. That's what I was saying. If we go green for a couple of laps, then we'll be under the green flag when we hit halfway. Which, when we hit the halfway point of a race under green, I don't know about, well, I haven't really paid attention to it for this series, but in the two big ones, it's usually been a good sign when we've been under green when we hit the halfway, even if it's just going green right before that.
Green flag.
And here we go, and we're seeing the flag stands man's mouth for some reason. That's a weird camera angle. If you watch the broadcast, you'll see what I mean.
Yeah,
And as they head down into the corner, we see that David Bowden's going to take second from Llewellyn, and he slides up. He tried a little bit too hard there. So we're going to go on board with Terry Adams in fourth and watch what's going on up front. As we see the three cars up there battling, it's probably going to switch us away from this camera in a second. There he goes. And that's put it with Terry. So we can, I mean, not Terry, David Llewellyn, so we can watch this battle between the Davids behind Mike Whitaker. There's Llewellyn to the inside of Bowden, trying to take second place back. Bowden comes down a little bit, but not enough to pinch.
Caution.
And we have another caution right at the halfway point. Right at the halfway point. Oh, Mr. Colburn? Let's ride on board with him. I want to see this one. What's going on? Why am I... There we go. We go down to the corner. Yep, and he just lost it. Kept it clean, and nobody hit him.
Yeah, that's another one of those reoccurring problems around here with the car snapping.
Well, We have now hit caution 6 at halfway. Just past halfway. Well, Mike Whitaker has now been out there the longest with Nate Dean. As Mike Whitaker is driving inside the pace car again, he has become one with the Mustang. Use the Mustang, Luke.
What's it Tony says on a few occasions? His mother asked him what he wanted to do when he was when he was a grown up. He said he wanted to be a pace car, so now he's a pace car.
Huh. I never heard that. I haven't watched a full broadcast with audio on for a while. Well, he's been out there for 21 laps. Nate Dean out there for 21 laps right now. Everyone else has 11 or fewer, except for Lacovara, who's at 12. So right now, Whitaker and Dean are the two that have been out there the longest. I think if we have another caution within 5 laps, we'll see Whitaker come down onto that yellow if he doesn't come down before the end of this one. There it is. Okay. Oh, wait. I did the math wrong.
Oh, no.
Halfway is not this time, but the next time with the line.
The one we go green.
Hawks, we're just hitting 1 to green.
Where to the green now?
We'll be at 1 to green. We'll be at half. So if you look at it now, we're on lap 37. So we're on 2 to green. So we'll be on 1 to green. On the backstretch will be the halfway point. At the halfway point on the backstretch. Because that'll be 37 and a half completed. Since 37 plus 37 is 74. And we need that other lap. So, where did my... Damn it. I'm losing things. Sehr gut.
Oh wow! There's all these cautions, and I'm actually not really that mad about it.
I mean, it's just having fun at this point. They know the car's loose. They know that it's something that can't be avoided as easily as wrecking each other.
Yeah.
Whew. And yep, so when we get to the backstretch, it'll be the official halfway point. When they complete the lap, the spotter or crew chief, whichever iRacing uses for that, will announce being at halfway.
I'm surprised that nobody else has picked that outside line. I mean, considering how well Jason got off the line when he picked the outside. Mike, since he took over at the front, he's been picking the inside line, which is kind of worked so well, but not as well as when Jason utilised the outside.
Yeah, and it's kind of unusual because he's usually one of the people who likes that outside line.
Yeah.
Outside needs to close in a little bit there. You got a big gap in the from the fifth row, 4th and 5th. Unless they're just trying to stay away from him and not get into anybody.
Yeah.
As long as they don't get a jump, I don't think it's a big deal. But they are slowing up 2 cars behind them as the green flag falls. They were really delayed on that one. Yeah, he was just hanging back so that there wouldn't be an accordion. As we see him dive down into the corner, David Bowden again gets that run because he's behind Mike Whitaker and takes second away from Llewellyn. But he just doesn't have the ability to keep Llewellyn at bay because eventually after a couple laps, Llewellyn just sneaks right by. But Bowden, looking to the outside of Whitaker, isn't able to get it as we go into the corner. Battle back there for 4th between Terry Adams and Johnny Antonucci, with Antonucci on the inside and Terry Adams in the funny-looking red, yellow, and blue car with the red wheels.
Yeah, I was just watching that. It seems like a very interesting battle between the 2 veterans.
David Bowden and David Llewellyn just had an interesting little bit there. They both went down on the apron in 1 and 2. Very quick. Wow. They both just dipped down and then came back up, fought like they were following each other.
And Scatina has spun his car, but it still stays green.
Caution.
I was waiting for it to come out. There's nowhere you can spin and the caution not come out here. There's not enough bottom of the track. Well, I was in a good mood. This is really quickly ruining it because I want to see some green flag. I want to see some racing. And I was hoping with the championship being decided already, these guys go out and we just have some fun.
Yeah, I mean, these guys seem to be in decent enough spirits. They're not exactly upset about the
Yeah,
amount of
there's no stress anymore, officially, technically. So,
Yeah.
but there's still the fact that it'd be nice to not be in pacing mode for once. The whole first season we did great. I mean, there were so few cautions, and then I start broadcasting again, and you're like, "Oh yeah, we've been like this all year." I'm like, ugh. And it's just like the complete opposite this season, which is, I guess, expected because we did have about 15, 20 people join in the off season. Not all of them have raced most of the races, but still, there's been a lot of them.
Yeah, apart from Iowa, that was a pretty good race.
Yeah.
Managed to get some green flag stops in there.
And this time we actually got to broadcast the champion and being crowned. Whereas I missed Indy last season because that's when my schedule changed on me abruptly.
Yeah.
And that one last season actually came down to that last race. I think Martin Miller just had to be there. I think.
Yeah, he just had to be there. He actually practically had it sewn up at Phoenix.
Yeah, I think he had like a 20-some point lead, so he just had to show up. And if enough cars had showed up, he would have had to finish 20th or better, or whatever points lead he had. But yeah. Go ahead.
I'm just saying we're gonna have some different changes to the season 3 schedule. Where is Ethan? There he is. Apparently the old Phoenix is changing to the new Phoenix.
Because Phoenix has another repave? Or you mean for our schedule?
No, the current Phoenix track. They're changing from the old Phoenix to the current one with the dog leg.
Just with the you mean with the dog, but with the configuration, but with the cones on the dog leg, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So exactly what we'll be running in the big cars
I
on
think
December
we're going to
20th.
be staying at Lime Rock for season 3.
As a matter of fact, the new Phoenix race in the big cars is before Christmas and then after New Year's.
Yeah, something like that.
December 19th and January 7th. I have it up on right above my computer.
It's somewhere near or close to the end of the season of the chase.
It's race 14 of 15. Is here we are.
Yeah.
Yes, we're here. Double filed, ready to go green again. Mike Whitaker's really stretching it. He's at 29 laps on this fuel stint. No one else is even close. The next closest is Lacavaro with 20 laps. Everyone else is 19 or fewer. So I think he's banking on us having another caution within a few laps. I just want to thank everybody who's tuned in so far to this race. I can see that it's 4 of you, counting myself.
No go.
I've just extended the caution because they can't figure it out at the back.
Yeah, that's one thing I saw when it got set up is the spotter and crew chief still talk. So when you did that, it did the no-go. It's been delayed message. So everyone in the broadcast got to hear the in-game guy say it, which is actually a good thing because we knew before you even said anything. But at least it's only 1 extra lap. It's not an extra like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And when we go green, though, that means we're going to be going green with an even 30 laps, which is exactly how long Mike Whitaker's been out there on this fuel tank so far. So with the way the cautions have fallen, he could pit one more and he'd be done.
Yeah, one and done.
Now,
yeah, that caution extended was caused by the 82 of Hoot Baker. He couldn't figure out. There was a bit of confusion between him and the 78. So
it looks like he's in front of the 78 of McManus.
Yeah, 78 wanted him to go past, but they didn't have enough time to switch places before the green came out, so I extended the caution.
Yeah. Okay, well, here we go. This time it's official as Mike Whitaker, David Bowden, David Llewellyn, Terry Adams, Ben Walton are your top 5. And here we go. Pace car dives down, and green flag falls immediately as soon as the pace car goes down. Whitaker jumps and gets a good run. They had a really delayed restart there. As we see him going through the corner, who are we on board with? It says we're on board with Whitaker, but it doesn't look like it. At least, yeah, it's
Just look for tie-dye.
well, ATVO tells me we're focused on Whitaker, but the car in the center of the screen is Ben Walton and fourth in the red car, or it was at the time.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's because the camera isn't set to focus on a car. So let's put it on Ben Walton because he's kind of in the middle of the pack right now. It gives me a big wide angle view. And whoa, David Bowden spins it coming into 1 and 2, and that's the caution for that one.
Outside at the start-finish line.
Might be oil on the outside of the start-finish line.
Maybe.
What? That's what I'm running. I have the Chad Canals pack installed, so that was I think I was Earl.
Debris on the track.
Yeah, that's what he says. If there's a caution and there wasn't actually like contact or a spin.
Wasn't that added in with the new update that they brought out a couple of months ago? Like with the debris on the track and things like that?
No. Basically, what the debris cautions are going to be called by the spotters is if it's a self-spin where there's no contact to anything. Because in the big cars, when we've had self-spin cautions where there was no contact with anybody or the wall, Chad Canals has told me that caution for debris, slow down.
Yeah.
It's usually basically just their way of, when there's no damage to anybody, it's a way of saying that there's something dropped on the track. Let's just call it that. And there goes Mike Whitaker down pit road. He's going to go ahead and hit the pits. If I was Dave Llewellyn, I would have well, no, he's only been out there for 23. He probably wants to stretch it as far as he can.
Dave Bowden going down pit road as well.
Well, he was the one that he probably should to get a little bit better tires. It'll be slow the first couple laps, but because of the way the tires on these things are, like what do they call them? The like concrete tires or something like that.
Hockey puck tires.
Yeah, hockey pucks. Yeah, because they just don't get grip until they warm up.
Yeah, because they actually do look like hockey pucks.
And they're Goodyears too. That's the weird part. They're not the same exact Goodyears that NASCAR runs, which is a good thing.
They're Goodyear Eagles, which is weird.
Well, no, I mean it's not the same compound. It's the same people, but not the same compounds. Because if it was, then the NASCAR cars will be sliding all over the place, or not getting any grip at all. Sometimes the NASCAR are quicker on the new tires.
Don't the NASCAR, the stock cars run lower profile tires as well?
They might, but these are also running different sizes on the front and the back.
Yeah,
they're a little bit smaller on the front.
Looks like Antonucci's coming pit side as well, and that looks like Ron McManus as well.
And yep, their numbers just ticked down to 0. Also hitting pit road that lap was, as you said, David Bowden. Bo Glenn hit Vincent Scatina. They both hit as well. So Ethan Glenn and Vincent Scatina went down pit road as well. So the cars who have been out there the longest right now are David Llewellyn at 25 laps, Robert Lacavaro at 26, Terry Adams at 24, and then Ben Walton and Jason Colburn at 20, with Eric Roberts and Mike Hoot Baker in 19 laps. Everybody else has 14 or fewer. David Gervais being the one with 14. He will still have to pit at least one more time for sure.
And it's great to see people like Bob Lacavara and Terry Adams up in the top 5. I'm not going to try and jinx them because I'm actually banging on a wooden table right now.
Well, they also have to pit one more time, so we don't know what's going to happen between now and
it's
these final 25.
It's just good seeing them up there for a change.
As we hit 25 to go now, we have now in the first 50 laps run 30 caution flag laps, which is weird because we haven't even run 4 caution laps every single caution.
And just watch Jason Colburn, because on that last green flag run he was cutting through the field like a hot knife through butter.
Alright, we'll hop on board with him. Let's put it on the gyro camera. I mean, there's not much banking, so we're not going to see a whole lot, but we'll put it on this, and we'll watch him go around. As you can see, he is an A license with the 2.5 and the 2108 I rating. Much better than me. But that I rating is based on your finishing position, so that's probably why. As you can see, he's
got 1100 I rating.
Hey, he's led 5 laps, by the way. It tells me that. His fastest lap of the race is 26.109.
That's not bad going.
It's not the fastest, though.
Green.
Fast, and here we go, going green. As you can see, him speeding up, going down to the corner, following Terry Adams. He's got eyes on the back of his wing there. That's pretty neat. So we see Jason fighting the loose car. You can kind of see him bottling. We can see the wheel battling the looseness. And he goes up to the outside behind Robert Lacavara. Almost wanted to say you, Sam, because you normally used to run 6. And he gets to the bottom of Terry, going through 3 and 4.
What a move! I told you, Jason's absolutely making moves at this part of the race. He's just taken 2 positions in what, like, the space of 2 corners.
Yeah, he's doing really well. He's now up in 3rd as we see them battling up there for the lead between David Llewellyn and Ben Walton. If he can get in the draft of one of those guys, he can catch back up like it's nothing. He tried too much. He tried too much and had to let off coming off turn 4, but still didn't lose a whole lot of ground.
And that was Baker coming down on David Gervais.
How you doing in there, kid?
Let's hop on board for this. This sounds like it's going to be a fun one. As we see them going through 3 and 4, Mike Whitaker on the outside of Baker. Are you sure? It looked like he maintained his line. It looked like Gervais came up to him because it looked like he maintained his line. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, he came down a little bit, but Gervais obviously came up. But that was coming off the corner. That was probably the push of Gervais's car. That was painful looking, though.
Thank God this is a sim.
Well, it wasn't that bad, thankfully. It was bad, but it wasn't that bad.
We haven't had that bad crashes tonight. I mean,
last
week we saw someone getting punted over the wall.
Yeah, that was still amazing.
This week it's just spins mainly.
David Llewellyn's led 30 laps tonight. He has almost locked up the point the laps led. I wonder if I can add that to this drop down box. No, I cannot. It'd be neat if I could. Well, everybody has now pit, except for Nate Dean. Everyone has single-digit laps on their fuel run, with Nate Dean at 14.
That as a racing incident, by the way, because it was kind of like a meeting in the middle. They
both the same piece of Hoot came down a little bit, but not a whole lot. And Gervais, when he was just coming off the corner, that was basically a push coming off the corner. He could have probably followed it a little bit more, but it probably wouldn't have helped in the end. They still would have contacted.
But David Bowden's been promoted to the front as well, and he pitted at the same time as Whitaker. So was Whitaker caught up in that?
No, but Ben Walton, David Llewellyn, Jason Colburn, Mike Whitaker, Eric Roberts, Robert Lacavara, Terry Adams, David Gervais, Mike Baker, Rhonda McManus, and Vince Scatina all pit. The only people who did not pit were Ethan Glenn, Johnny Antonucci, David Bowden, and Nate Dean. Nate Dean is 15 laps on his fuel run. Everyone else has 8 or fewer, even the guys who stayed out this time. So we know Nate Dean's definitely going to have to pit one more time. David Bowden, Johnny Antonucci, and Ethan Glenn will most likely have to pit because, I mean, we still have 19 laps to go. And we know it's 22 green flag laps. And we've been having a little bit longer stretches now, so it's that time we hit 3 laps.
That's the longest run we've had all night.
Well, we've had 33 caution flag laps, 56 completed, so, and that was caution number 9.
We're heading towards double figures.
We're going to hit it. We were talking before the race, hey, we most likely won't hit 10 cautions. No, we're going to hit it before we hit 10 to go.
Mathematically speaking, we shouldn't hit double figures in cautions next week. I know that. Because Indianapolis is obviously much bigger, it's much wider, it's faster, so...
I want to point out one thing. We most likely won't, but we can definitely easily still have... Actually, no, we can't. Because it's 4-lap caution, unless it's like this, where we have an occasional 3-lap caution. But if they're all 4-lap cautions, that's 40 laps.
Yeah.
Out of 50. And that means they would have to have a caution come out the exact same lap we go green.
Yeah. I mean, last time we were at Indianapolis, we had well over 30 cars on the race, so...
Oh, God.
Yeah, so... we could have...
In these cars?
Yeah. Indianapolis is very popular in the Pro Mazda. Very popular.
Very popular with our whole league. I had not raced any open wheel cars in any sim with a wheel until the week before this league was officially started. Alex and I were basically running hosted races with this car at Talladega and Daytona, and then he got this idea, hey, let's start a super speedway league. And we're like, okay. I hopped on board with it, and we started talking to the people who were joining our sessions. It was Tony, it was Mike Whitaker, David Llewellyn, and they're like, yeah, we'll definitely join a league with you guys. And that was the start of something amazing. And look where we are now. We're now a speedway league, doing tracks as short as Iowa, which is 0.8 of a mile. Do we go any shorter? Yeah, we don't.
The team is having serious problems.
Caution. Sorry, caution.
That was double figures. Yeah, 0.8 of a mile at Iowa is our shortest track of the big cars. These guys go as short as 3/8. Who was that, by the way?
Was the number 5 getting into the back of the 8? Ethan Glenn, I've just asked him to park it. That was his second caution.
Can I get on the front? Which side did he get into him with? The left or the right?
Left. Well, actually, it was square on the back. He just almost ran him over.
Oh, yep, there it is. Let's watch it from a different angle, shall we? As they go down into 1 and 2. He got a hot... Oh, okay. Rewind that a little bit and watch it from his point of view. I don't think you should have parked Ethan for that. Ricky Gervais drifted up the track. Gervais? That's his name, isn't it? David Gervais.
David Gervais.
You know where I got it from, though. But yeah, if you watch, he kind of gets a little loose and has to follow the car up the track, and it was right in front of where Ethan was. He had nowhere to go. I don't think Ethan should be parked for that. It's your call, but I was looking at it from his point of view, and you can see it on the broadcast. Gervais kind of gets a little contact with whoever's on the inside and just flies up right in front of Ethan. So personally, if I was in your position, I would have called that a racing incident because there was contact and he just had nowhere.
It looks like Ethan's parked it already, so I'm not going to change it now. It's
I'll tell him with further review it was found to be the other way. Apologize to him for asking him to park for it. I'd definitely say that. We probably should do that. As we are going to go to, let's watch from the grandstand on this. No, we're not on the green yet. We'll watch a few. Hopefully, we can have a few green flag laps so we can watch some from the grandstands. That was my refrigerator. If it picked up on the microphone, pretty sure it did.
Turns out Ethan's out anyway. He's used up all his fast repairs.
Oh, okay. Well, it's disappointing.
I did say upon further review it was a racing incident, but Ethan's car is too damaged. He can't continue anyway.
He said that over the chat, I assume. Well, we're hopefully hitting the one to green here, and it looks like Nate Dean's taking the outside. As pace car lights do go off, we will be going green with 12 laps to go. Can we get a good long run to end this race? You know, Nate Dean doesn't want to see that. He wants to see this have caution, caution, caution. Because he needs every caution he can get, because he's at 21 laps right now. If we had caution laps to the end, he would win, actually. He could go to the end if we had caution laps all the way. Or almost all the way. I think he can run about 3 or 4 green flag laps and he'll be fine. But he can't have more than, I would think, 5 green flag laps. Just an estimation. So with us going green with 12 laps to go and us at 10 cautions, do you think we'll hit 12? Because we have enough time left in the race to hit 2 more cautions.
The way things are going, I'm pretty sure we will.
We have just enough, so they would have to happen pretty much right away. As look at that tiny field. As pace car dips down, Nate Dean guns it. You can hear it. And here they go, off into turn 1. David Bowden actually did get a pretty good jump on the start and stays pretty much with him. As Ben Walton, Johnny Antonucci, and David Llewellyn round out the top 5. And oh, did Nate Dean did he run out of fuel?
He got loose off the inside of the corner and pushed up wide. He's still going. He got a huge push coming out of turn 2 and lost the position.
I saw someone sliding backwards on the infield, on the inside line there. That's why I was asking. But yeah, it looks like David Bowden's going to have the lead this time by.
Give that to Ben Walton now.
And David Bowden's fighting back. Let's go up here and watch this battle. Damn. Bowden fights back coming off of turn 2. But Ben Walton's not going to give up. We're probably going to see someone different win for once. This is amazing. It'd be nice to see one of these regulars win as Ben Walton closes the deal coming off of turn 4. David Bowden does the crossover and goes to the inside as we go down into turn 1. A late turn in for both drivers, and David Bowden clears Ben Walton. Are these two just going to have a waltz now? As we see Nate Dean starting to close in. He has now been out there 24 laps. He's getting close. He's going to be sputtering soon. And that's not going to be good because those cars are right there near him. As soon as he sputters, those guys are going to be right on top of him, and there could be a bottleneck.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, you see the two teammates actually fighting now, Ben Walton and Nate Dean. Second place, and Jason Colburn making it.
Oh, and there goes Colburn around, and he collects David Llewellyn, and Mike Whitaker gets a little bit of damage.
How was your car?
Oh, man, we're not even going to have to watch that one, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Park Jason for that. That was his fault.
Oh, by a long shot. That was obvious.
A huge lunge on the inside.
But we're watching him here. He's sitting here in 4th place up on the outside, and he could have probably held it. I think what it was is he might have just tried to turn too much. David Llewellyn gets contacted. Mike Whitaker gets contacted. Someone hits... Who's in the black car gets involved. Man, I think it was like a 5 or 6 car incident right there. That was a pretty heavy wreck. It's a good thing he's already clinched the title. As Nate Dean still has not pit. He is currently sitting at 26 laps on this fuel tank. The longest we've seen someone go tonight is 34. They pit on the 34th lap of their run. So if he can make it stretch these final 8 laps, he would be right there at that distance. But those people were dealing with cautions every couple laps, so he's got to be hoping for that to happen again. As he stays out again, I think he's pretty much understood. He's made his bid at this point.
Yeah. Jason Colburn has put it behind the wall. His car was way too damaged anyway to continue. So a bad homecoming for the new champion, but hopefully he can pick it up next week when we go to Indy.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully he just can finish the race. If I was him, already clinched the title, go for the win, but don't make any unnecessary risks. Just try to be there at the end so you can have a clean car to take back to the shop and say, hey, this is the one that I raced in the final race of the championship. Let's put it on display in our Hall of Fame, or our Walk of Fame, I guess technically would what the garages be, the public garage. I really want to see we need to find some renders for that so we can have like the ISL Champions garage where they're just like 3ds Max renders of everybody's paint schemes they run in the last race of the season.
Yeah.
That would be pretty neat to have that.
I mean, in Phenomenal Motorsports, I mean, I'm not trying to be biased here, but
well, yeah,
they're pretty much dominant in this championship. They can't do it in the Indy cars.
Well, y'all got close. Y'all had people in both of the final rounds of the last one, and even though the team was unofficial then and unofficial during the inaugural ISL season, or I guess at the time we were the ISSL, it was still I think there was still someone there. It was let's see, it was, I believe, David Llewellyn, Cody Eldred, Tony Trapasso, and Mark Holmes. So no, you didn't have Tony. You had Tony, yeah. And Cody ended up coming out on top, which is still, I think, our biggest Cinderella story.
We had Vega as well when he was.
But he wasn't in the final 4 of the first season. I'm talking about y'all's current drivers. But I I still think Cody in winning that championship is the Cinderella story of the ISL because he did not win a single race.
No,
He won the champion. He won a championship before a race.
I think the first race he won was season 2 at Las Vegas.
Yeah, near the end actually. It was like
Yeah.
like halfway through the regular season, something like that. Halfway or near the end.
It was like they all just came in one row. I think he won like what 2-3 races in a row.
Yeah, he won. I think two in a row in the Hour of Fives, or whichever one he got the first win, and then he won a DW12 as well. So I think it stacked up to technically 3. As we were about to go green with 5 laps to go, the ticker has now gotten to the point where it's counting down instead of just counting the laps up. As Nate Dean is still out there, he's been out there for 29 laps. This is going to be an interesting one. Let's ride on board with him so we can listen to hear if his car sputters, or I guess when it sputters.
I think this is going to be a battle between Walton and Bowden, though. Those two were going at each other's throats in that last run.
Yeah, I'm putting us in the cockpit of Nate Dean's car here so that we can get an on-track view, and also so we can definitely hear that put of the engine.
Green flag.
And there's the green flag. We see David Bowden kick it into high gear. David with Ben Walton on the outside, and Nate Dean still going strong as we go down into turn 1. Then you see him kind of,
Antonich is looking down his outside now.
and you can kind of see him fighting it. It's definitely loose,
Caution's out.
That's the race.
and that is it.
Lap one time real quick.
That would be it. Yep, 4 laps left. Nate Dean is going to make it to the end. Car did not sputter in that lap. So so what was the wreck? Just need a car.
It was David Gervais. He came right up into Vincent Scatina and destroyed him.
Ooh. Let's put it on blimp. Instant replay. Instant replay. Instant replay. Instant replay. Instant replay. Here we go. I did have it at 10 seconds. Wait, what? Looked like there might have been some contact there with the inside car.
Yeah, I looked at it closely. There wasn't any. It was more like bounding box than contact, and it just fired him up the track.
Well, then I don't think that should be his fault because he didn't have control of the car when it happened.
Yeah.
So I don't think he would be at fault for that.
I'm not going to give any penalty or do anything for it because it's the end of the race now anyway. So there's not really any point.
Well, we were saying we hadn't had a wreck that was thank God it's a simulation wreck, but who did he get up into in that one? Scatina, is that who you said he got up into?
Yeah.
Yeah, he ended up on his head.
Ouch.
So that was our thank God it's a simulation wreck for the night.
Yeah.
There you go, Tony. We got it plugged in there. Focus on David Bowden. Nope. Oh, driver, there it is. And we'll put it on grandstand. Whoops. Were you going to say something? Were you about to say something, Sam?
No, I'm just telling the top 3 to get the button TeamSpeak.
Well, has David Bowden won in a Mazda race yet?
Yes, he has.
He has? Okay. Well, I will say, at least we had a winner from one of our regulars this week. Doesn't happen often, so it's definitely neat to see it. As we're cruising around, we are on the final lap. I am still impressed that Nate Dean is going to make that car go 34 laps. I mean, I know we had cautions, and we
Just
did
started
hit
the
12.
podium, though. Johnny beat him just before that wreck happened.
Man, by like the nose, it's like the tip of his nose, maybe like a foot of that of the tip of the car was past Nate Dean when the caution flag flew.
Amazing. That was. I know there was a lot of cautions, but there's still a lot of entertainment in that race.
And the few
that's
green
a-
flags.
That's a running trend in these races. I know there's a lot of cautions, but they're still kind of entertaining at the same time.
The green flag runs are good.
Yeah.
until there's someone who makes a bad awareness move and forgets, oh, right, they forget one thing and it causes a wreck. And then we have a slew of cautions that had come out. Because I noticed with these cars, when we get a green flag run going, it stays for a while. But once these guys get bunched up again, that's when the caution flags start flying. As we see David Bowden pulling around 3 and 4. Is he going to do the burnout? No, he's just going straight down pit road. He's parking it. David Bowden's not going to turn any victory laps. Victory celebration. This is...
That's a shame.
Pause it. Oh, didn't catch it in time. I'm trying to pause it so I can get a screenshot. I guess you'll probably grab that, right?
I'll have a look.
I'll just grab them there. So, our top 3. Who are David Bowden, Ben Walton, and John Antonucci, with Nate Dean and Eric Roberts rounding out the top 5. Terry Adams, Mike Whitaker, Robert Lacavara, David Llewellyn, and David Gervais round out the top 10. I do want to point out John Antonucci, Terry Adams, Mike Whitaker, Robert Lacavara, and David Llewellyn. 5 of those top 10 are regulars in the big cars. Eric Roberts is he doesn't run them all the time. He's I think, a part-timer on his own. In 11th place is Ronald McManus. 12th, Jason Colburn. 13th is Vincent Scatina. 14th is Ethan Glenn, even though it says Bo Glenn. 15th is Mike Hoot Baker. And then, of course, you can ignore the final 3 because we didn't race and Mick Woods did not turn a lap. And by the way, for those looking and seeing that UK IRL, no, you're not seeing things. Sam really is over in the British Isles over there.
Yep. Well, Ireland, but yeah, close enough.
Well, they're a group of islands, so. But you're on the big one, the one that everyone knows. Do we have anybody here?
We have Ben Walton up in Main Gate. We can talk to him.
Yeah, if you wanted to go ahead and grab him.
User was moved to your channel.
As Ben Walton joins us in the booth. Ben, have you got a coffee?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Ben, great result tonight. Huge battle near the end with Dave Bowden. How did the race feel out there? I know there was a lot of cautions, but how did it feel out there overall?
You know, I feel like the overall flow of the race went pretty well, other than the cautions. You notice as the tires went on and they kind of got some wear on, and they definitely got a lot more stable and pushed a lot more as we were going through the corners. But all in all, it was a fun race with managing your fuel and racing with everybody. Overall, was pretty clean.
Yeah, I mean, clean enough. I mean, once you got the car hooked up, you could actually make some really good moves on that inside line. Were you able to hook it up once you were getting past people and making sure you got the move done properly, or was it getting loose? Or
Yeah, I think as you got towards the front of the field, the clean air definitely helped just a little bit. But I think definitely on the restarts, you want to be in the outside just to arc into the corner. But the front tires definitely sometimes wouldn't hook up as well as they wouldn't to get a lot of push. But
yeah, I mean, let's go to that battle near the end with David Bowden. I mean, you must have thought you had him on a few occasions when you overtook him on that restart, especially. Do you think you had the win there, or did you not have enough there for Bowden?
yeah, I think if we could have maybe ran that last 10 or 15 laps under green, I think I could have chewed him down a little bit. I know we got a pretty decent gap to the guys behind us, but yeah, I think I could have had something for him. But a great win by him.
Yeah, awesome. Anybody else you'd like to give a shout out and thank for the finish tonight?
I want to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. You guys do a pretty good job on it and everything, and bearing with all the cautions. And everybody at SKC Motorsports with Vince Katina and Nate Dean for putting these paint schemes together to honor 9/11 for the throwback race. So yeah.
I noticed I wondered what that red scheme was on the car, and I noticed now it looks like it's the Ferrari red and black scheme from the Italian Grand Prix in 2001.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, Nate did a great job on it. We kind of in a group chat, we decided what we wanted to do, so that's what we came about with.
Ah, okay. Yeah, me and Forrest wanted to know. We were wondering what they were because they all looked identical. We weren't sure. But yeah, congratulations on the second place there, and yeah, we'll let you get back up to main gate and celebrate with your team.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
See you next week at Indy.
User was moved out of your channel.
We have Antonucci, I see, up there.
Yeah, let's grab him and bring him down.
All right.
User was moved to your channel.
Johnny Antonucci, Sam in the booth. Have you got me, sir? Johnny? I don't think he's at his keyboard right now.
It does not seem so.
Okay, we can talk to him after.
Well, this was, 12 cautions. We hit,
Moved out of your channel.
let's see, let me pull up the grid. 12 cautions, 48 laps. So we did go over the 50% caution laps, but, and if you had not had to throw out that one delay, we would have averaged less than 4 laps of caution, actually. Fastest lap of the race was a 25.987, which, if I'm correct, was Mr. Mike Whitaker, who started in second place tonight. No one else got below 26 seconds. He was the only one to break down into the 25-second mark, and not by much, only by 13 thousandths.
So pretty competitive times overall then.
Oh yeah, pretty much. Everyone was pretty close. Where is it? Race summary. So here we go. We had a total of 7 lead changes, of course, with David Bowden taking the win there in the orange, black, and white number 17. Over 75 laps. That's pretty good. There's a lot of lead changes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
More than we had last week, I believe. I think David Llewellyn ended up clinching the most laps led, even though he didn't even lead half the race because of all the different leaders. He led 31 or 32, I think, which with 6 other leaders leading at least 1 lap gives him the most laps led. Let's see. Don't have a whole lot of other things to talk about. I'm still impressed with how Nate Dean stretches fuel like that. With David Bowden and Johnny Antonucci had 25 and 26 laps.
If Nate Dean can actually play the fuel game that well in these cars, just imagine how well he can play the fuel game when he eventually moves up to the Indy cars. It should be very interesting to see.
Yeah, the interesting part is our Euro 5s, man. They have just a bit larger of a tank. I think at Daytona, we ran 4 or 5 more laps, so that makes a huge difference. Those extra 10 miles that you can.
But
10 miles.
Those Euro 5s and the DW12s, we only run a 50% fuel load, so that's it. They're working with even less fuel. So,
yeah, or at least as far as gallons, yeah. But these cars just get better mileage. I think. I don't think it's actually that much larger of a tank. I think this is a 22-gallon tank, but they just get such good mileage because they're not that powerful of an engine. Let's see. Yeah, so for example, at Las Vegas, we ran 25 laps in the RR5s, roughly. 25 green flag laps if we went green from pit stop to pit stop. So the DW12s are probably going to be about 19, 20 to 21, maybe 22. So yeah, definitely knowing how to work that fuel is something that's definitely going to benefit him when he does make that move up. It's something that Cody Eldred has perfected. Mike Whitaker has perfected it. That's how they both won their championships. Tyler typically just works with Tyler Graff works with Creighton Carter, and they typically stay on the same schedule. And it doesn't always work out in their favor, but they know how to work it. If it goes almost green to the end, they can work the pit strategy really well.
I'm hearing good things about the setup for this Sunday's DW12 race at Vegas.
That's definitely gonna be exciting with all this time off.
This setup is actually coming from Gary Bauer this time, so
yeah. For those curious, most of our setups have always been done by people going into a session, and Terry Adams, who, as you saw in this race, was TD Adams, and in some of our previous videos, you would have seen his hand over fist. Basically, he would go and he would make the tweaks, and then share the setup. Everybody would run some more laps. He'd make more tweaks, judging on input. So essentially, he was the setup master. But unfortunately, because of some circumstances, we don't know the full. At least I don't know the full details. He has stepped down from that, and so we've had other people having to step up. David Llewellyn, Gary Bauer. I think Tony's gotten back into the cars just to do the setups sometimes. Mike Whitaker. Basically, all of our top drivers have been going into a session and just getting a setup going for us. Which is what we were hoping for. We want a lot more people to help set up the cars.
Yeah, and like you said, people like Gary Bauer and David Llewellyn, people like them, they've spent most of their sim racing careers like working on engines and doing setups and things like that. So they know exactly what to do. So it should be interesting to see what they come up with in the near future.
Yeah, Gary Bauer is known as our pole machine in those cars. If he's going to be making a lot of the setups, I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing a lot more poles out of him.
Oh yeah, using his own setup to his own advantage.
Yeah. But yeah. So, well, I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else you'd like to say to the viewers before we go ahead and call it a night?
Just want to let you know that Season 3 schedule has not been fully drafted yet, but for those that follow us on Facebook and Twitter and things like that, we will be announcing the new schedule for Season 3 in the Pro Masters very soon. So just keep an eye out for that, and we'll be starting Season 3 probably 2 or 3 weeks after Indianapolis next week. Also in Indianapolis, expect a much different race to the ones we've seen lately. This is a much bigger track. It's a 2.5 mile super speedway, as we already know. We should see less cautions, but a lot more exciting racing. So just stay tuned for that next week.
I think you just insulted the intelligence of our viewers. If they're watching us, I'm pretty sure they know Indy.
Yeah.
Considering we've run 2 races there on broadcast, 4 total, 5 total, 5 on broadcast actually.
Hey, I got my best ever ISL finish at Indy, so I know all about that.
I don't think I haven't raced Indy yet in either of the series. I missed all 4 of them last season. I didn't run any races in our inaugural season, so I've missed every single race, all 6 of them so far.
Yeah. I mean, Indianapolis is our championship decider again this season in the big class. So.
And I'm pretty sure everyone's going to want to keep it that way. And I guess I've asked it already, but I asked it last week. We didn't have an answer. Has there been anything on the Triple Crown for our Big 2 series?
Still nothing yet. Still waiting for an announcement off our league sponsor, Bill Roberts.
Well, at least we're only 2 weeks in, or a week and a half in, since we haven't run the DW12, so I can't say 2 weeks.
No.
But I do think Watkins Glen and Dover would be good to repeat those again. Maybe have Milwaukee be the third one. Milwaukee or Iowa would be really 2 good ones, because Milwaukee's the throwback. Iowa's our shortest race as far as the track size. So they seem like the... Go ahead.
Watkins Glen and Dover have got to be added to the Triple Crown. Those 2 were fantastic last time. But
yeah. And I think Milwaukee, Iowa, and maybe New Hampshire would be the 3 that would be great to put as the third race. One of those 3, because they all have unique characteristics to them.
I actually forgot that we're going to Loudon this year.
Yep, it is. That's the race. That's the week before my birthday, actually. That's the final races we run before my birthday, because it's November 14th and November 19th, and then we're off Thanksgiving week before we head to Atlanta, which is after my birthday. So that's gonna be fun if I can win before my birthday. But I'm not great at New Hampshire, so that might not happen.
Well, I'm not really a fan of the shorter tracks, so.
Oh, I love them. I've been learning them. They've been benefiting me a lot better. I've noticed that when I run the NIS, that's one thing I've noticed. The short tracks, when you learn how to work that gas and the brake a little bit better, like you're at a road course, I do a lot better now. But I did like Bristol. If I hadn't gotten my engine balloon on lap 4, I would have had an amazing car, because I was flying through the field. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that's all we have for the night, unless you have anything else.
No, nothing at all.
I don't know the full spiel that Tony does, but thank you all for watching. This has been presented by RobertTechJobs.com and all of our usual sponsors: Terry Adams, Bob Lacavar, David Llewellyn, Mike Hoot Baker, and I apologize if I'm forgetting anybody else, and all the sponsors.
MGD.
Yeah, and basically every single sponsor we have with every single driver in the league. We thank everybody who has stepped up to help the league keep going, And we'll see you guys Sunday when Tony Trapasso will take the booth from Las Vegas in the Sin City. Thank you guys for watching.
See you later.